Konnichiwa, I'm John Hornick. Welcome to my Japanese Faves series where we'll cover every major type of Japanese food. This lesson is Dan Dan Men 1 Sesame Peanut Noodles with chicken and crispy garlic. I've made a Chinese dish called Dan Dan Noodles for many years. This is my Japanese version with shredded chicken and toasted garlic. This dish is eaten warm or cold like Dan Dan Noodles. About the noodles, the description calls for scratch-made udon or ramen noodles based upon my Making Udon Noodles or Making Ramen Noodles from Scratch videos. Cook them according to my lessons. Of course you can use pre-made noodles, and I must admit that I've used Italian linguine, either scratch-made or pre-made. Cook any pre-made noodles according to their instructions. So let's start cooking. Okay, now we're going to make the sauce for the Dan Dan Men 1, which is similar to my Dan Dan noodle sauce, but Dan Dan Men is Japanese and Dan Dan is Chinese. So we're going to start off with 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, which I already have in the bowl here because it's kind of hard to get out of the prep bowl. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini or sesame paste or sesame sauce, very similar to peanut butter in consistency and thickness. Then we're going to add the shoyu, Japanese soy sauce. Then the rice vinegar, sugar, and the sesame oil. Now, we're going to mix this up with some water. See if I can get some more of this out of here. Good. We're going to mix this up with some water, but I think we'll need somewhere between 3 and 6 tablespoons. But we're going to do it a little bit at a time so we get a consistency that we like. Okay, so we're going to mix this up. Okay, this looks good. Now, I used about half of the water that I had put aside. I had about 6 tablespoons. I used about 3 tablespoons of it. And what we have here is a consistency. It's not as thick as peanut butter. It's probably about as thick as yellow mustard. What we want it to be not too thick. We want it to be able to coat our noodles without being too runny. But we want the noodles to be able to pick up the sauce. Okay, so we don't want it to be too thick. We don't want it to be too thin. We want a Goldilocks situation. We want it to be just right. Now this you can keep at room temperature, and then we're going to make the noodles, coat the noodles with the sauce. Okay, now I almost forgot, and this is why we have a prep list. We're going to put in a few drops of hot chili oil. You don't need much of this stuff, okay? And we're gonna stir it up, see if we like it the way it is. If we want it to be spicier, we can always add more. So just start with a few drops of it. Let's taste it. Good. Has just a tiny kick, which is what I like. If you want more of a kick, add a few more drops. Okay, now we're going to cook our chicken, and first we're going to season it with some kosher salt and some freshly ground black pepper. You know, I like to pat it in. Turn it over, do the other side. And then we're going to cook the chicken however you want to cook it. You can grill it. You could grill it on a barbecue grill. You could grill it in a pan. You could roast it in the oven. You could boil it, or you could do it in a rotisserie oven. However you want to do it. Just cook the chicken breast, and then we'll go to the next step. Now, while the chicken is cooking, we're going to make our crispy garlic chips, and I'm going to have some crumpled brown paper standing by to drain the chips on after they've been cooked. So what we're going to do is add these to a pan, and then we're going to add enough olive oil that they're not exactly submerged, but so that the bottom of the pan is covered and the garlic is in the oil. Okay, and then we're going to put it on to low heat and make sure they're all coated, and then we're going to keep an eye on them And when they start to brown, we're going to turn them. Now remember, garlic cooks, it burns fast and easy. We're starting with low heat though, so it shouldn't get hot too quickly, and we should be able to control the heat and not burn them. Okay, our garlic chips are just starting to take on a little color. We're going to try to turn over as many as we can and see how the color's looking. We're getting a little bit of brown here, which is good, but we're going to go for a little bit deeper brown. Okay, we're getting a nice golden color on these chips. Yeah, so what we're going to do is remove these from the heat. We're going to leave the heat on until after I get them out of the pan. And we're going to put them onto our crumpled brown paper. Okay, now what we have here is garlic infused olive oil. I would not throw this away. I'm going to keep this oil and use it to cook something else some other time. You can, and it'd be best to keep it in the refrigerator until you're ready to use it. We're going to turn off our heat, take our oil off of the stove. All right, now we're going to lightly blot our garlic chips, and you could use paper towels to do it. I'm just using the other side of the crumpled brown paper. And then we are going to salt them lightly. And then I'm going to remove them to a separate bowl to have them ready for garnishing our finished dish. There we go. Beautiful. All right, now the next thing we want to do is cook the noodles according to the instructions for whatever kind of noodles you're using. I have lessons on making ramen from scratch. You could use ramen noodles. You could use somen or soba. You can also use Italian noodles, linguine. I think angel hair might be a little bit too fine for this though. So cook the noodles according to the directions of whatever noodles you're using. And then when you're done, run cold water over them to stop the cooking, and we're going to use them cold so they can stay cold. Okay, here we have our cooked chicken, and I did it in a rotisserie oven, and I'm going to shred it. You could also, I like it shredded on this dish, but you could also slice it. That would be just fine, whichever way you like it. Okay, now here's our shredded chicken. Now, if you're going to be plating up a la minute, then you can just keep this at the temperature it is. It's going to continue to cool. This is really kind of a room temperature dish. The noodles can be cold, the sauce can be cold, the chicken can be cold, but it can also be room temperatures. Not really a hot dish. So this temperature right now is fine because it's going to continue to cool as we plate. However, if you're not going to plate right away, then you should put this in the fridge until you're ready to do so. All right, now we're going to sauce our noodles. Now I only made enough noodles for one person tonight because I'm cooking for one tonight. And however, the amount of sauce that you use is really up to you. If you want it to be kind of soupy, use more sauce. However, here's an important point. If you do this in advance, say, you know, more than a half an hour, or actually I'd say more than about 15 minutes before you're ready to serve, you'll need to use more sauce than you think because the noodles are going to absorb some of the sauce, okay? If you coat them too lightly and then you wait too long before you serve, the noodles are going to be much drier. So I'm going to serve almost immediately, but I'm going to use a little bit more sauce so that we have a nice, really nice coating on these noodles, okay? There we go. Okay, time to plate up. So we're going to put our noodles into our serving bowl, and I'm going to try to get as much of this sauce out of here as I can because I love it and I don't want to waste it. Okay, and then we're going to garnish it with the chicken. And then a sprinkling of sesame seeds. And this is a mixture of white and black roasted sesame seeds. Then we're going to garnish with the scallions. They've been cut on an angle so that it makes them look nicer. See, okay. And we're gonna garnish with the scallions, and then we're gonna garnish with the garlic chips. There we go. There we have it. That is 1010 Men 1. You can see photos of the final dish on my Instagram, which is at Chef's Apprentice, Cook Like a Pro. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.